Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our weekly preview of the CFL that we do each week with David Schwab. Right now we're taking a look ahead to week 2, and in week 1, David and I both had one pick. Happened to be the exact same pick. We were in lockstep agreement with each other in week 1, and that pick lost. But that's just week 1, and now we're going to come back with some winners for week 2. David Schwab, thanks for being back with us.
Oh, great to be back, Peter.
All right, yeah. So we both liked the over in the the Montreal-Calgary game. Complete loser, but that's okay because in the early weeks of the CFL, or specifically in week 1, I'm always going light. Now here we have week 2, and I got 2 plays that I'm liking a lot here, I think, and then one other play I'm thinking about. Let's see if you agree with it. First one, Hamilton at Edmonton. Now, Edmonton was one of my leans last week, wasn't one of my picks, but they, there were a lot of people saying that this was going to be a very up year for Edmonton, and in week 1, that certainly looked like the case. Their offensive line looked a lot better. Now they're -3 at home against Hamilton, and Hamilton, I'm a little bit down on them. I don't really like their coaching this year. I think they're probably going to be a good bet against in many spots. I think this is one of them, so Edmonton -3 is one of my picks. And then Saskatchewan at Toronto. Toronto looked like they just weren't really ready for week 1, but I suspect that at least on offense, they'll come back a lot stronger in week 2. And Saskatchewan on offense is looking very strong. They've got a running back who's, looking like he's going to be a fine replacement for Corey Jeets. Their offensive line's looking as strong as ever. Darian Durant at quarterback. We know what he can do. I'm thinking the over 53.5 will also be a good pick. What do you think about those 2 picks, David Schwab?
Okay, starting with your first pick, I'm with you on this one. I was kind of disappointed in how Hamilton came out to start the season. They made a lot of big deal about getting Zach Collins to replace Henry Burris as a quarterback, and all he did was he threw for 139 yards while throwing almost more interceptions than completion. So they may be able to straighten that out, but I really like Edmonton. I think they came out. Especially since they're going 4-14 last year, they got off to a great start. Mike Riley looked sharp at quarterback, with over 220 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. And I think the biggest thing that really impressed me about Edmonton was their defense. I mean, they were one of the worst in the league last year, giving up close to 30 points a game, and they shut down BC to held them to 3 points in the second half of that game. So until something tells me different, I'm going to lay the line I was looking at was 2.5, but I think you might have mentioned 3. But I'm going to lay the few points and go with Edmonton at home in that game.
Okay.
I didn't make a pick on the other game you mentioned, but I do kind of like the over in that one as well.
All right, well, those are my 2 picks. And then the other one that I was thinking about, give me some advice here. BC at Montreal, both these teams are going to be looking for a quote-unquote bounce back this week. And the big question is Montreal's offense. Troy Smith looked absolutely lost in that first week. But last year he looked a lot better. And I'm thinking that he, and specifically the offense, bounces back this week. And BC, their offense probably, I'm thinking it's going to be looking for a bounce back as well. It's a pretty low CFL total of 51. So I'm thinking about the over, but I'm not sure about that. What would your take be on that one?
Yeah, I kind of looked at both teams and said, okay, what's the better of they both came out flat. They both came out with poor performances in week 1. So I looked at it, who's going to be the better team in this matchup, and I'm going to lean towards BC to kind of come out. I don't think Kevin Glenn. I know Travis Lulay is still out. He's out. I think he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So. BC's got to go with Kevin Glenn as their quarterback. I think he has a better shot to turn things around, maybe than Troy Smith does with Montreal. So that's why I'm going to go and take BC and lay in the points in this one. As far as your pick on the over, I got to believe that even Montreal still has to work out some stuff. But I do think that they're going to score more than 8 points, or I think they scored 8 points last week. So I would say that that you probably can't go wrong with an over in that play. But my official pick on that one is BC.
All right. So your 2 picks for week 2 are BC -2 and Edmonton -3?
Yes.
All right. My picks for week 2 will be Edmonton -3, Saskatchewan, Toronto over 53.5, and what the hell? I'll go with BC and Montreal over 51, so I'll give 3 picks for week 2. All right, David Schwab, thanks so much for your thoughts, and I hope we have a better week this week in week 2.